Hey everyone, Connie here, and today we are going to be doing something different. This is a video that I've wanted to do some level of for a while, some kind of version of, and I decided we're going to do it now. We're going to take care of it, we're going to get it done and over with. And so, what this video is we're going to be using a tier maker list for RWBY characters and ranking them. Um, I don't know if this tier list is 100% comprehensive for all the characters in RWBY. It has a lot of them, but we're going to be ranking them just in accordance with my personal tastes. So yeah. And as a note, the reason I have put this off for so long after Volume 8 is because of how sour of a taste the end of Volume 8 left in my mouth. It's just, it ended off so poorly. And especially with the entire Penny thing, I'm still not over that because it's still a terrible writing decision. And one of the worst, if not the worst mistake the RWBY has made in the entirety of this show's running. It legitimately pisses me off. It was that bad. And so because of that, when the season was going, I was planning on doing like all of these different videos, all these different like top tens or whatnot afterwards, but I put them off because of this, because I was so upset, and it's just I wanted to push my mind away from RWBY for the time being. Because although I love the series overall, it's like that just it really bothered me. So we're finally going to get to this. We're doing a tier list instead of just a top 10 video because I think it's something different, something we don't do too often. So let us bring it up. So yeah, we're going to go through this. I assume they're in alphabetical order. And we're just going to go based on my opinion. As you can see here, we have favorite, love, like, neutral, dislike, hate, and no opinion. No opinion is for characters who we either haven't seen enough of, or are just extremely minor, or just don't really have much of a character. And this is I'm going to be basing this on how much I like their character, not how much I like their personal actions and whatnot. Even a bad person can be a good character. So I'm going to be basing it off of their character rather than like if they're a good guy or a bad guy. So we start off with Adam Taurus. Adam, I like. I don't love him. He's definitely not the pinnacle for villains for me, but I do like him. I think he serves a good purpose, and his archetype as a basically jealous, vengeful ex is really well handled. He has great. He works well off of Blake, and Yang, and I just think he does serve his purpose really well. So I put him in like. Next is I think his name is Adrian, Saffron and Tara's son. I have no opinion. He's a baby. He doesn't really have much of a character. There's like a couple little cute baby moments, but that's basically all there really is. And there's some points, admittedly, where Adrian does show a little bit too much intelligence, which does annoy me. But it's not to a point where it strays me into having any real heavy thoughts on the character. After that, we get to Amber, the former maiden, the former Fall Maiden. We didn't really get a lot of her. But what we did get showed her as being kind and caring, but also very cautious and really freaking strong. But we didn't get enough of her to really like form too heavy of an opinion, but I do still have an opinion on her character, and I would put her in neutral. Just because it's like there's not enough to say whether I really love her or not, or really like her even. Um, if there was just a little bit more, I feel like I could properly rank her in an actual tier. Next is Ambrosius, I think his name is. He is the genie of the lamp, basically, in Atlas. I love Ambrosius. He's hilarious. He has great personality. The voice actor does a phenomenal job. And he's just genuinely really interesting. Next, we get into An Ren, Lai Ren's mother. Um, Again, just kind of like the kind of like Amber, we never really got to see a lot of her. What we did see, like Amber, she's very kind and caring, and that's about it. Like she's not even like badass like Amber. Um, we don't really get a lot to her. She's a kind, caring, loving mother, and that's pretty much all she is. She's basically an archetype. I don't dislike her by any means, but I would put her in neutral and I'd put her under Amber only because Amber does have the added bonus of being badass. Next is Arslan. Is it Arslan or Aslan? Either way, she was in the Vital Festival. She doesn't have much of any character. We've only seen her fighting and haven't really gotten to see much of her personality. Like we saw a little bit of personality in her reactions to what other characters were doing during the fights and whatnot, but that's about it. So I don't really have an opinion on her. Design wise, she's really cool, but in terms of personality, I don't really have an opinion. So I would put her above Adrian though, if it'll let me. I'd put her above Adrian just because she is a slightly more interesting than a literal baby character. Blake. Okay, so here we get into one of the main characters. Blake is a like, and that might be a bit of a surprise and a bit of a controversial choice for some people. But Blake is the least interesting member of Team RWBY for me. And not to say that she's not interesting. She's very interesting. She's a very good character, and I do very much like her. But I don't love her like I love the other characters. I don't really connect with her as much. Um, and I feel like I should almost because of the discrimination aspect and facing discrimination for being queer and stuff. And although it's different, but still, it's just I feel like I don't like connect with her character as much as I do with the others. But she is very much a heavy like character for me. I want her to become something a little more. And hopefully in volume 9 she will be. Next we have a couple characters here, these next two. Again, both in the Vital Festival, but I don't even remember them outside of like, oh yeah, I recognize them based on their look, and that's it. So I would actually put them below Adrian in the no opinion category just because I don't even remember them outside of how they look. At least I remember Adrian. Next is the one councilwoman. Camilla, I think her name is. Um, she is actually going to be my first dislike. I just don't like her. She seems like a very stuck up bureaucrat in a way. Just nothing about her really appealed to me. And while I don't necessarily agree with how Ironwood handled a lot of things with the council and everything in Atlas, I still don't really like her. Carden is a hate. Of course, Carden's a hate. Carden is a bully, a very kind of typical bully, but he's an asshole. He's just a complete jerk. And he doesn't really learn his lesson. Like, he stops bullying Jean and his team, but that's about it. He doesn't actually learn his lesson or get redeemed or anything, so there's no real reason to move him out of hate for anything. Next, we have Ciel Soleil, the duo's partner in the Vital Festival to Penny. Again, we don't know a lot about her, but unlike the ones in the no opinion, she actually had a little more screen time to show off her personality. She's very straight laced, very time oriented. Um, she's very to the point and doesn't really like wasting time or like doing anything that seems like unimportant. Not usually my type of character, though I do love her design. Um, I would put her in neutral, but probably a low neutral because I don't really like her that much, but I don't hate her either. So, yeah. Cinder, on the other hand, hate, and I would put her lower than Carden because I actually really hate her character. And again, it's not just because of what she's done and everything, it's from a character standpoint, I do not like her. I do not like her at all, and I've talked about this in the reactions and all. I can't stand her, and I think she should have died in Volume 5. I hate that they retcon that. She's been a complete waste of space and hasn't been good since Volume 3. And they've done nothing to change that. Volume 8 did not change that at all. In fact, it kind of made it worse in a lot of ways. Even with her backstory, I do not sympathize with her. Yeah, it's just, I can't stand her. Next up, we have, oh God, what is his name? I can't think of his name. The guy from the Aesops who Crow kind of had a thing with. God, I can't think of his name. It starts. I know it starts with a C because we're still in the C's, but either way, Clover. That's it. Because Lucky Clover. Clover, I actually really liked. I would put him between Blake and Adam because he's not as noticeably awesome as Blake is, but he's better than Adam, both in terms of being a good guy and a antagonist, because he does end up as an antagonist by the end. Even if he's not a bad guy, he's still an antagonist. Um, I think he really served his purpose well as a character, and I really liked him. I just genuinely thought he was a good character. Coco Adele. Coco is the definition of cool. But outside of that, there's not really much to her. I guess there's like the chapter books or whatever that expand more into her and just all of Team Coffee. But I don't, I haven't read those. And although I guess they're technically supposed to be considered canon, nothing about them is probably going to affect the series at all. So considering them canon is basically pointless. So I'm counting this based solely on her appearance in the series, and in that regards, I would put her in like below Adam because I really like her. I really like her character, but she needed. I really wish there was a little more to her, a few more scenes that just fleshed her out more than just in terms of battle. Although we did get to see plenty of personality with her, but I just wish there was more non-battle scenes with her. Next is Caroline Cordovan, and she is another hate, but she's higher than Carden for me. Cordovan is a character I feel is completely unnecessary. She does not really serve any big, noticeable purpose in my eyes. And honestly, she's just unlikable. Like, even at the end when she lets them go after they help save the town, it's like, even then, it's like, it's not enough. There's just not enough about her that makes me care. Next is one of the brothers, Corsic. And Corsic, and I'll just actually skip ahead to Fennec as well, since they're basically the same. They're basically the same character. I would put them both in like under Adam. So it doesn't matter which one I put first. Because again, they're basically the same character. They practically have the same personality and thoughts and all. They are really good villains for Menagerie and that entire arc, and they're just really interesting. They're fun. They have a great personality to them. And I honestly wish we kind of saw more of them. Next, we have some more characters from the Vital Festival who I don't really remember much. Um, Actually, the first one here isn't, but these two middle ones are. So I'm going to move them. Again, I don't really remember them much outside of them being in the Vital Festival. But these next two are Dee and Dudley. They are the train guards, the huntsmen who are guarding the train in Volume 6. Uh, and I don't. One of them dies, and I don't remember which one it is. But I also have no opinion on. Like, again, we just didn't get to see enough of them. But I will put them above Oslin because there's a little bit more to them. After that, we get into Elm with the E's. So Elm was at first one of my favorite members of the Aesops, but then she just kind of died down and became kind of meh to me. So I would put her in neutral, but I would put her at the top of neutral because she's still a very interesting character, very fun. But I just wish there was a little more to her that just wasn't so negative. Emerald. Emerald is a love, and she is above the genie. I love Emerald's character. I've always loved Emerald. And with her development in Volume 8, she has just become even more of a powerhouse character for me. Fiona Time. Fiona I would put in like, and I would put her above Clover. I really like her. She's adorable. She's really fun. She has a great personality. Um, but she's not as prevalent as, Blake is. So Blake does still have the edge up on her for now. Then we get to Flint Cole of Team Funky. I would put him in the like category as well, and I would put him behind Coco. If there was more of him than the two scenes we got him in, he could be possibly higher. He definitely has the coolness factor like Coco has, and his semblance and all is pretty cool. His weapon is pretty cool. Um, but I just wish there was a little more. So next we have the other member of Team Coffee. I can't Fox Allister. That's his name. I couldn't remember his name for a second there, but Fox Allister. He is complete neutral for me. I would put him after On Ren because, in fact, no. I would put him at the top of No Opinion because I just don't have an opinion on him. It's just that simple. I don't really. There's not really enough in the series to give me any opinion on him. And again, apparently he's expanded on in the book, but I haven't read it and everything, so I'm not, and it's not going to affect the series, so I'm not going to count it. Next, we get into the Winter Maiden. I feel pretty neutral on her, and I would put her above Amber because we do get to see her a few times. We do get some personality, and I like her, but she just doesn't have as much as I would like. So she'd be right about there. Gira Belladonna is definitely a like, and I think I would put him above Clover. In fact, I'd put him above Fiona as well, just under Blake. I love his personality. I love his character. I love what they do with him in regards to his interactions with other characters. The only reason I wouldn't put him higher is because they do kind of go the entire direction with the stereotypical protective father route in regards to how he interacts with son, and it's really bland. But almost everything else with him is great. Then we have Glinda Goodwitch. Glinda is very popular, and I don't fully understand why. For me, she is a high neutral. I'll put her above Elm because it's just like, yeah, there's not really enough for me to like, but there's also not enough for me to dislike. Like she has notable personality, she has character. I have that opinion of her, but she's not really at that level where I really care about her character that much, but I don't dislike her either. So I would say high neutral. Next, we have the gods of darkness and light, and I would put them in neutral as well because I don't really hate some people I've seen dislike them because of the actions they've taken and everything in the flashbacks we've gotten. I've seen some people try to defend them, and I'm kind of on the fence with both of those sides because I can see both sides of that argument. I would put the God of Darkness lower on the neutral end, though, just because he is very clearly God of Darkness and he has definitely a lot more of an aggressive side, while the God of Light actually tried to make things better and clearly showed remorse for his for what he has done and stuff. I would put him above Amber. No, above Amber. Next, we have another character from the Vital Festival. No opinion, just slaughter in there. And then we have Harriet Bree. Harriet, I really like as a character. I don't like who she is. I don't like her actions, her thoughts, her undying loyalty to a fault. But as a character, she is a really interesting, well made character. I would put her in like, and I would put her above Adam. Then we get to Hazel. Hazel is very much the same way. I don't necessarily agree with his views or whatnot and how he takes it out on people for actions that are really not their fault. But at the same time, I really like his character and his character's personality, and his role in Volume 8 was fantastic. In fact, I would put him above Fiona. I would not have put him that high if not for Volume 8. Henry Marigold, I hate because he's meant to be hateable. Like, he is literally designed to be hated. I'll put him between Cordovan and Carden. Because I don't hate him as much as I hate Carden, but I also think Cordovan is a little better than him. But like Cordovan, he doesn't really serve much of a purpose other than just being a jackass. He appears for one scene, and he's mentioned once again by his cousin May, who we'll get to later, but he doesn't really have a purpose outside of that. So yeah. Next, we get the Hound, which I'm interested. I'm very surprised the Hound is on here. I have no real opinion on the Hound, but I'll put that in the high end of that list, just because it's hard to have an opinion on a Grimm, you know, because it's like they don't really have much of a personality. Although this one definitely has more of one than others for obvious reasons. Um, so but they also like this one is really interesting and was a human at one point, so or actually a faunus. Um or no, was he a faunus or was he just a silver? I know he was silver-eyed. Was he a faunus? I swear I think he was a faunus, but I might be wrong. Human or a faunus, either way. Um I mean, either way, not much of a difference. But I don't really have any strong opinion on him. Ilya, on the meantime, I love Ilya, and I would put her under Emerald. Ilya is a super underrated character, I feel, and she needs more love. And I mean that she needs love. We know she loved Blake, and we know she's become a good guy again and everything, and I would love to see her again. I think she's a great character, and I think she's so underrated. Ironwood is a favorite because although I despise what Ironwood became and how he, not what he became as a character, but who he became as a person, and despise the actions he took and fully acknowledge that he became an outright evil person, he is so phenomenally written. He is honestly one of the best written characters in the show, without question. So he is definitely a favorite for me, just in that regard. The next character, I feel like I should know who this person is. I recognize their appearance, but that's about it. I don't know who that is otherwise. So I guess I got to put you in no opinion. I'll put you under the baby. Next is Jacques Schnee. Jacques as a character, again, this is as characters, not just as in terms of their personality. In terms of as a character, I like. He is a very well written piece of shit character. So I would put him between Hazel and Fiona. I can agree to that. I think he's just a really well made character. He serves his role extremely well. So yeah, I'm gonna shrink this down just so we can see the characters a little better. Again, so yeah. Next we get into Jean. Jean is mixed with a lot of the fan base. Like some people really love him, and some people are just meh on him. And for me, I would put him in like, but I would put him low on the like. In fact, I would put him below Adam because Jean, like you've heard people use the term milk toast to describe someone who's just so basic and bland, and that's what Jean is to me. He's so bland most of the time. He has moments where he's really good, but those moments fade way too easily. Then we have Jin, and Jin is nowhere near as good as Ambrosius is, but I would still put her in the like, but I would put her at the bottom of the like. She's sexy for sure, but that's pretty much all she has going for her. She's kind of curious with her personality, kind of uh, uh, interested in what people do and think and all, but she's not too much else more than that for me. After that is one of the people from one of the girls from the Happy Huntresses. I can't remember her name. Um, I would put her in neutral, and I would put her right below Elm. She didn't have much of an impact on me. I can't even remember her name. But I did like her personality and her interactions with other characters such as Fiona. So there is that. Junior, a character who appeared in one episode and the yellow trailer. Junior is a character I like, and I wish there was more of him, but I would put him at the bottom of the like just because of how little there actually is. I wish he was in more because he's actually a really fun character, and I love his interactions with Yang. Kali Belladonna is a love, and I would put her between Ilya and Ambrosius. Kali is great. I mean, the fan base latched onto her so quickly, and you can't blame them. She's just such a likable character. In fact, I think she's basically the perfected version of An Ren. She's kind, she's nice, she's uh, a likable character, but at the same time, she has more to her. You get to hear her thoughts on certain things, such as the White Fang and whatnot. You get to see her actually be kind of badass in the most unconventional ways, too. Kali is cool. And like I said, she's basically the perfected version of An Ren. So there's that. Okay, so here we get to the butler, whose name is escaping me at the moment. Um, Klein, that's it. Klein is definitely a like, but where would I put him? I would put him right above Shock, just because of likability, too. Because they're both really well made characters who serve their purpose extremely well. But Klein, because he's a little more actually likable, that's what edges him out above Jacques for me. Um, After Klein is character I don't recognize, so no opinion. I know who this next character is. They're a member of Team Cardinal. Don't know anything about them, so no opinion. Next we have Ren's father, who I don't remember the full name of. Like his mother, we don't get to see a lot of him, but we actually see less of him. I feel well, actually no, I think we see about the same amount. But I feel like we get to see less of his actual personality, and what we see, what he does show, is very not a fan of. But I don't really dislike him as much, so I'd put him in the low neutral tier above the God of Destruction. And next we have Little Miss Malachite, and she is definitely a like. Again, another character who's super underrated and I would love to see more of. I would put her above Adam just because she's more interesting than Adam. Leo Lionheart, I would say I dislike him. I don't fully hate him, um, because I don't think there's enough to him to hate. He's the cowardly lion. He's just the cowardly lion. Like it's literally his character. He's kind of except that he's also a traitor. I guess the cowardly lion and Wizard of Oz wasn't a traitor too, but he's just a traitorous, cowardly git. And it's like I dislike him because he's not really that important. Let's be honest. Um, but at the same time, he's just not really likable either. Maria Calavera, on the other hand, is a love. I adore Maria. I would put her between Kali and Ambrosius. Um, I don't like what they did with her by volume 8. Like they kind of just abandoned her with Pietro on the tower, and it's just like, okay, why? Like she's been built up as this kind of mentor figure to Ruby, and that they barely do anything with that, and it's a lost opportunity. But at the same time, what we do get of her is so good. I love her sassy personality. I love her backstory. I love what we see of her character in the current day, even. She's fantastic. Marrow, on the other hand, is definitely another neutral for me, and I would put him right above Elm. He's a little better than Elm, a little more likable, has a little more personality to him, but he's still very bland to me. So I would put him there. This next character doesn't really have much of a character. He's in Menagerie, but he's just kind of there. But then we get to May Marigold, and May is a love, and I would put her between Ilya and Kali, and not just because she's trans, although that is pretty fucking awesome. May, I love her personality. I love her character. I love how she's both no nonsense, but also really caring and empathetic. And we kind of see her fight with that a little bit. We see how much she cares about people, but also how much she is willing to sacrifice, at least when it comes to Atlas. I really like what they do with her, and she's just really likable. Next is Mei Zedong, who was in the Vital Festival, and again, not enough info to go on. We also have these two sisters, these two twins who worked for Junior. Not enough to go on, so those will both go there as well. But Mercury, I dislike. In fact, I would put him at the bottom of the dislike. I just don't like his character that much. It always felt in the early volumes that he dragged down Cinder and Emerald. And in the more recent volumes, he just is even worse. He's not to the point of hating him, but I really don't like him. Next is another Vital Festival character, and then Neapolitan. Neo is a like. A lot of people love Neo, but I'm not quite on that level with her. Um, she does have a lot of personality for being someone who doesn't speak, and I like her interactions with Roman. And although I don't like Cinder, I like how she interacts towards Cinder. I would put Neo probably. I would put Neo after Hazel. I think that's fair. Because I think that Hazel and the others above her just have a little more to their character that I just can latch on to. Neo might be expanded upon a lot in the next volume, though, so here's to hoping for that. Neon Cat. Neon Cat is a character that I would say is a favorite. And it's one of the weirdest choices for that, too, because it's like, I've talked about how others on this list don't have a lot to her character, and Neon doesn't. She's only appeared in 2 episodes for one scene basically each time. But the character she does have is so fucking entertaining and likable to me. It's just like I just instantly love her. I love her personality. I love her character. I love her kitty cat faunus tail and stuff. I love her design. I love everything about her. I have always adored Neon, and like you could go back see my reaction when she reappeared in Volume 7. I believe was it Volume 7 or Volume 8. Also, she had 3 scenes because she had a very brief scene in Volume 8 during the battles and all when Salem had invaded Atlas. I forgot about that. So she had 3 scenes, but I think it was in Volume 7 when she first reappeared. Yeah, because it was when they first were at Atlas. She was. You could go back and watch my reaction to that. I was so fucking hyped when that happened. I was more hyped for that than Neo, and I was pretty hyped for Neo returning. Next, we get to Neptune. Neptune is definitely a neutral, but definitely the top of neutral for me. Definitely got to shrink this again too. Neptune is just kind of meh. He's like he has a little more to him than some other characters in the neutral section, but he just doesn't do it for me either. But I don't dislike him, so I would definitely put him in neutral. Next up is another Vital Festival character, and then Nora. Nora is a favorite. In fact, she's the top of my favorites. I adore Nora so much, and I think she's. This might sound weird, but I think she's underutilized. Like, I honestly think she's more interesting than most of Team RWBY. I think the only one who might be more interesting than her is Yang. But I feel she's underutilized. I feel like she should have much of a more main role, not just a major role, but a main role. Like, as in things should be following her a lot more. Especially with her role in volumes 7 and 8, she just shot up really high for me, just skyrocketed in my character list for sure. I'm going to shrink this down one more again, even though we don't technically need to. I'm just going to play it safe and get ahead of the curve there. But yeah, I adore Nora. Also, she's really hot. Another Vital Festival character, and then Dr. Oobleck. Dr. Oobleck's another neutral for me. I would put him at the top, though. He's fun and he's funny and interesting, but I don't really have a strong opinion on him. I mean, I have more than no opinion on him, but I don't have a strong opinion on him. I don't really like him, but I don't really hate him either. So I would definitely put him there. Oscar is a definite like, and this, again, might be a little controversial. I would put him above Blake. I think Oscar is more interesting than Blake at the moment. Though Blake has been getting better after starting in volume 6 and all that. I think Oscar is just so interesting, especially because he is the next reincarnation of Ozpin and everything. I just really do like Oscar, and I like what they're doing with his character. And speaking of, we next have Ozpin, who does definitely count as a different character because they kind of have different personalities to a degree. And especially counting Ozpin from the early volumes. I would put Ozpin lower, though, because Oscar is definitely more interesting. I would put Ozpin below Jacques. Ozpin as Ozpin was hiding way too much, too many secrets, too much about himself, so I didn't really get to know him as much. But what I did, I really did like. Penny would have been a favorite if Volume 8 hadn't destroyed her character arc. And now I would put her at the top of the likes. Like, I'm completely serious. Penny was one of my all-time favorite RWBY characters until Volume 8 destroyed her character arc and completely made her being brought back in Volume 7 pointless. I really think that they did her dirty, and it really pisses me off. I'm not going to talk any more about her because it's going to make me angry. So Pietro. Pietro is a really nice guy, really fun, really lively. I love his personality. Definitely very much feels like Geppetto, which he's, based off of. I would put him in the like as well. I would put him above Harriet, I think. Professor Port is another neutral for me. I would put him right below Oobleck because I like them about the same amount. So I like Oobleck a little more because he's a little crazier. Pyrrha. Pyrrha is a character a lot of people would put super high on the list. I would put her at the top of the likes, right above. No, I'd put her below Penny. Because even though Penny's character arc was ruined, I still like her a little more. Pyrrha is a character for me who is super overrated. She's really good, and I do like her, but she's not as good as a lot of people like to say. After that, though, we have Crow, Drunkle Crow. Crow, I would put in the likes as well, and I would put him just below Neo. Not much more to say regarding him. It's just, again, it's just in terms of I like his personality. I like the struggles he goes through, that kind of stuff. Raven is a strong hate. In fact, I'd put her right before Cinder. I hate Cinder more, but Raven is really close. I despise Raven, and I mean as a character too. I do not like her as a character. I think she's just a completely unlikable character in terms of how she's written and everything, and nothing about her supposed feeling bad about her actions and semi redemption in volume 5 made me care, especially since she hasn't been seen since. After that, we have Reese Chloris, who is in the Vital Festival. I would put her near the top of the no opinion because, again, we don't have enough of her to really form any kind of real opinion. But I do really like what we did see of her. So next we have Lai Ren. Ren may be a really attractive character for me, but in terms of likability and just overall feelings on the character, I would put him in like. I would put him between Neo and Crow because I really like the struggles he went through in Atlas, trying to find himself and everything, and his relationship with Nora. But I also feel like there could be more done with him. This next guy is the geez. I am sorry about that. This next guy is the guy who trained Cinder when she was young during her backstory. I don't. I knew his name at one point, but I don't remember it. I have no opinion on him because, well, okay, I'll put him in neutral. I'll be fair and put him in neutral, but I'd probably have to put him below Elm because he's likable. He has a character for sure, and I do have an opinion, but it's just a very neutral opinion. It's just very meh. I don't really care that much. Robin is a definite like, and I would put Robin below Blake. Robin really did, like, I really do like her. I love her kind of freedom fighter, Robin Hood kind of gimmick. Um, I like the entire thing about her trying to change things for the good of Mantle and all the people. And I like what they did with her in Volume 8. Roman Torchwick, fantastic villain. I would put him in Love, actually. I think I would put him in Love. I would put him below Maria, though. If he hadn't died, he could have been so much better. Like, I kind of wish Cinder died instead of him in Volume 3, because he would have been so much better moving on. Um, but yeah, he's just super interesting and fun, and uh, I love his personality. I love how he interacts with others. And I have to zoom in for real quick. I'll zoom back out in a second because I can't tell who this next character is. I still can't tell who this next character is, so let's go back to that. I don't know who that is, so automatically no opinion. Ruby. Ruby. Ruby, I would put above Penny in the likes. Penny would have, again, normally been in the loves or even in the favorites, but because of how she had that downfall of character progression and stuff in Volume 8. She's now below Ruby. Ruby is a great character. I really do like her. She's just out of reach for love for me because there's certain things about her that do like kind of annoy me a little bit in terms of personality, but not much. The next character is another member of Team Cardinal, but I have no real opinion on him because there's again not much character to him. And again, I have to zoom in to see these next characters because I can't tell who they are. Okay, the one guy is Sage from Sun's team. I don't know who that first guy is offhand, though. Like, again, he looks familiar, but I can't place it. So he's a no opinion. Sage is a no opinion, let's be honest. There's, like, Scarlet has some character to him, but Sage really doesn't. Then we have Salem. Salem is my number one currently out of all those we've gone through. Salem is phenomenal. She is such a phenomenal villain. She's everything that Cinder, like, everything that Cinder should be, let's be honest. Based on how Cinder was in volumes 1 through 3, Salem is exactly who Cinder should have been like. And it actually makes me dislike Cinder even more because of that. Salem is just so phenomenal. She was absolutely stunningly perfect in volume 8. Saffron Terra, or Saffron Kata Arc, that's what it is. Saffron Kata Arc is a definite like. I love her personality, how she works off of Jean. I actually like her more than Jean, for sure. I would put her below Crow. Just because Crow and Ren and them have more, in this show, more scenes and more character. But Saffron is just instantly super likable. And now we get to Scarlet. Scarlet would be a neutral for me, but high neutral. I would put him below Neptune. Just because he doesn't have as much character as Neptune. But the character he does have is very fun. He's very flamboyant and interesting. And then we get to one of the bandits, the one who was harassing Yang at the bar and then eventually led her into a trap. I dislike him. I would put him above Mercury, though, because Mercury's just so dislikable. We have the sea captain from the ship. I would put him in neutral, and I would put him actually at the top of neutral, even above Oobleck. Because he's just, again, he's on the verge of being a like character. Because I really do like what he showed. The shopkeep, neutral, or no opinion rather. He's not much of a character. He's literally a running gag. Sienna Khan. Sienna Khan I really liked, and I really wish that she had more room to play in the series. She had so much potential, but they just didn't go anywhere with it. I would put her above Pietro. The councilman who Ironwood murdered, very point blank. I would put him in dislike as well with Camilla. And again, it doesn't really matter which order I put them in. I kind of feel the same about them both. That doesn't mean I think Ironwood was right. By the way, Ironwood was very wrong to murder him. Summer Rose is next, and again, no opinion, but I would put her high no opinion just because of what we have heard about her and everything, and as well as her design being kind of like an upgraded older version of Ruby. I really do like what we've seen of her, even if it's almost nothing, but I still have no opinion. Sun is a like for sure, but I would put him just below Sean. A lot of people really like Sun, but for me, he's like Sean, he's just very meh. He's very basic, but I do like him. It's just he needs a lot more to him to really shine. Tai Yang, on the other hand, is the blonde boy who actually does shine a lot more. Tai Yang is a great father figure character, and I would actually put him just below, just above Pietro. In fact, I'd put him even above Sienna Khan. There definitely needs to be more with him too, but he definitely is the best of those blonde boys. Terra Kata Arc, the wife of Saffron, I would put her kind of in the same vein as Saffron, but I put her just under her because Saffron is more. cheery and poppy, and I like that typically more. So I would put Saffron just above Tara. So Tara is just below her. Talk. I really love Talk, and I really wished there was more Talk in the series. I would put Talk right above Sienna Khan. I just really love her, and I don't. Well, okay, I kind of know why, but it's like there should be more. This next character I kind of recognize, but I don't know who it is, so no opinion. Junior from Junior's Book Trade or whatever it was called. Also, I could probably zoom in a little bit now. Nope, I was wrong. But Junior from Junior's, or Tuxton, not Junior. Junior's the other character. Tuxton from Tuxton's Book Trade. Oh crap, what just happened? Oh crap, hold on. My Chrome shut off. Also got really dark in here. I was noticing that, but Chrome just closed while I was in the middle of that. If I go back up to the page, though, it should show it again. So give me just a second here. I might have to edit this together, but in fact, yeah, I'm gonna stop this here, and I'm gonna cut back to when it is fixed. Okay, we're back. I got the lighting fixed as best as I could, but let us continue. I don't know why it just shut down like that. I don't know. But anyways, we were at Tuxton. I don't really have an opinion of Tuxton. We didn't see enough of him. So I'd put him just, I guess, somewhere in the middle here of the no opinions. Tyrion. I really do like Tyrion. Tyrion would definitely be in the likes. Because he's a very interesting, fun, and hilarious character. I love his psychotic personality. I would put him just below. No, I put him below Osmond. Velvet. Velvet's another character who doesn't have a lot to her, but I just absolutely love her. But I don't love her as much as I love Neon. So I would put her in the love category, and I would put her between Kali and Maria, I would say. Vernal is a character who I liked at first, but started to dislike as the series went on. Vernal, so I guess you could say is kind of neutral for me. And I would say she's like under Elm. Vine is one of the characters of the Aesops I like the most. Not as much as Harriet. I would put her or him rather. Sorry, I'd put him below Coco. I just like his personality. I like how he's very similar to Ren, but I also like how he's one of the ones who definitely acknowledges that what the Aesops were doing and what Ironwood was doing was wrong. Dr. Watts, again, is another character who I really liked at first, but he started just kind of fade for me. I would still put him in the like category, though. I would put Watts just below Talk. He normally would have been much higher, but he just kind of went downhill for me in Volume 8 and just wasn't as interesting. Next, we get to the Schnees, and we start with Weiss. Weiss is my favorite character. I make no secret of that. I adore Weiss's character. I love her progression and growth as a character. And it's just like, I adore her. I just adore pretty much everything about her. Whitley has grown on me magnificently because of Volume 8. I would put Whitley actually in the like category now. I would have put him in dislike before, but now I put him in like. I would put him still below. I would put him below Pietro. Oh God, what is her name? Mama Schnee. I can't remember her actual name. Is it Willow? Maybe it's Willow. Mama Schnee though. She's definitely my least favorite of the Schnees for sure. But I would still put her in like. I would just put her near the bottom. I would put her above Jin. And then we get to Winter. Winter is definitely my second favorite, especially with her growth in Volume 8. It's getting really windy out there, geez. I would put winter. I would put winter at this point just. I'd put her between Penny and Pyrrha. Yang has always been one of my favorites. Currently, I would place her between Salem and Nora, um, just because of where she's at as a character currently. Also, geez, it has gotten super windy out there. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's like blowing like hell. Yang, I've always loved her personality. I've always loved her character. I've loved her kind of almost cocky attitude at times. Her goofiness and jokiness. Barbara Dunkelman does a fantastic job with the voicing. I've always loved Yang. She used to be my number two, and there were even points where she was actually my number one before Weiss was. Um, but currently, I'd say she's my number three just because of how damn good of a villain Salem is. Yatsuhashi. Yatsuhashi, I'm pretty neutral on because he does have more personality than other characters who are in the Vital Festival and all of that, and other characters in Team Coffee. Um, well, at least other than Fox. And he's definitely not as good as Coco or Velvet. But I would put him below Port, maybe. Yeah, because I do like him a little more than Neptune, just because Neptune has a little bit more ridiculousness that I don't like. The next guy is Yuma, who's a White Fang guy. No opinion on him. There just wasn't enough of him in the short time he had screen time to really say. And Swy, another one that might be unpopular. Swy is neutral for me, but top of neutral, because Swy's a dog. Like that's all Swy is. He's a dog, and that's pretty much all there is to his character. Um, he's a little smarter than your average dog, but that's basically it. Um, so yeah, that is my full tier ranking for RWBY. Um, so as you can see, my top three are Weiss, Salem, and Yang. No surprise at all. But Nora, Ironwood, and Neon are also in that same category. And my least favorites, not counting the no opinions, my least favorite three are Cardin, Raven, and Cinder. So yeah, I would love to hear your thoughts, though. I would love to hear what your lists are. So let me know down in the comments below who are your favorite characters, who are your least favorite, where would you kind of move some of these around to. Let me know, and thank you so much for tuning in to this special video. Hopefully, Volume 9 is much better and brings us back into the good stuff about RWBY, so we'll see. For the time being, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.